been asked a question, and the question I was asked is, what's the one piece of advice I would give a year 12 A-level chemistry student if they were starting out? And the answer is, get organized. I mean, if I could give just one piece of advice to a year 12 A-level chemistry student starting out, it's get organized. Now, by that, we do have to dive a little bit deeper into it, okay? Because what I don't mean is, well, get organized. Yes, well, you've got like your folders, and you've got your pencils and your paper and your calculator and your book. All right. No, what I'm saying is, and I think of this as levels, is what you need to do is and this is a coaching term, you need to chunk up the levels, all right, so that you're more organized than the other students. And so, yes, I mean, obviously, you do need to make sure that you have folders, like the A4 folders. You need one for inorganic, one for physical, and one for organic chemistry. All right. And you probably have 3 of these in year 12 and 3 of these in year 13 for each one. So in the end, you'll have 2 for organic, 2 for physical, and 2 for inorganic. Yes. And of course, you do need all your pens and your pencils and your paper and the calculator, exactly. But this is just kind of like, well, a GCSE level of organization, right? The next thing that you need to do is you do need to get organized. And how I teach it is, I just don't do you go to school and, college, and you have the student planner that the college or the sixth form gives you, and you write down, when the homework is due, okay, or what's going on that week, or what you need to be doing for homework. No, that's again the kind of a GCSE level way of getting organized. What you need to do is you need to chunk up to the A level way of getting organized. And so how I teach it in my course, the ACE Chem Accelerator program, is simple. Look, we actually start, as Stephen Covey says, with the end in mind. And so all of my students, we are mapped out for 90 days. And so you can ask any of my students in the course, what's going on, and they can tell you the next 3 months exactly what's going on in terms of school vacation, school trips, exams, mocks, UCAS prediction exams, when practicals are due. It's all written down in there. Okay, so this is what I mean by the 90-day bird's eye view. It's like the 30,000-foot helicopter view. You're looking down. All of my students, they're not surprised at what's coming over in the term or even the half term, because the next 90 days is just mapped out completely. All right, but they then break that 90-day plan down into monthly segments. And so again, for each month, they know what's going on in terms of when the exam is due, when the homework's due, when the practicals are due. And so they're organized. But then it goes down from the month down to the week. Now, by organizing 3 months and then going down to a month, what you're doing now is that you're beginning to work ahead. Because all of my students that are with me in my course, what they have is the ability to be working 3 days ahead. So you've got to stop and think now. I mean, would that be advantageous if your child was working 3 days ahead of any deadline? So basically, on Friday, they're doing Wednesday's work. And so this means that from the student perspective, from your child's perspective, it means this, is that they're not up all night cramming for exams or tests the next day. They're not stressed about homework. They're not trying to figure things out the last minute. They're not like under what I call negative stress. What they're under is positive stress, because they're working 3 days in advance of any deadline. And that's a great feeling to have. And that's a very powerful feeling to have, because what happens is that if they don't understand the concept, if they don't understand how to do maybe a mechanism or a 6 marker question or something on the homework set, like one of those calculation questions, then they can get help on it. And so, they can look at the homework set, and then if they don't get it, they get asked to teach the next day. They can make sure they get it before the homework is due. Because teachers do tend to be a little bit more helpful if the student is working in advance, not at the very last minute, oh, miss, oh, sir, can I ask you a quick question? Okay, so this level of organization, 90 days, down to 30 days, down to weekly days. But my students, they also know what they're doing each and every day. Meaning that for them, it isn't a case of, oh, we just go to sixth form college and we go to lessons and then we go hang out in the social area during the free periods and everything else. And then when they get in, they're sitting at the desk in the house going, yes, you know what, I've got so much work to do. I'm just cramming to get the homework done. The reading, the practice problems for like the very next day. And I'm always under this negative stress. No, my students are so organized that what they can do is that they can find an hour during the day and they're in the library and they're studying and they know exactly what they're studying. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's A-level chemistry, biology, physics, maths, you name it. They know what they're studying, number one. And by that, I mean not only the concept and the subtopic, but for example, are they doing past paper questions? How many past paper questions are they going to do in an hour? They have to print it out, or it's on the tablet, it's on the device. Or if they're doing a homework set, which questions are they going to do to understanding before the end of the hour comes around? And so this is what I mean by the level of this is what I mean by being organized. And my students, they also know how to organize the notes. I teach them a very specific way that the university instructors teach their students. And so you're basically thinking the notes are super organized. The hours in the day is super organized. They know exactly what they're doing in terms of past paper questions and homework sets and reading ahead. Their week is organized. They're 3 days ahead of any schedule. The month is organized. And so there isn't any surprises coming in. They know exactly what they're doing for the month. And the term is organized. And so by the time they reach the end of the 90 days, it's no surprise that they're sitting at a top level grade like an A star in A-level chemistry. All right, so this is the question that I was asked. I was asked a very simple question. What's the one piece of advice that I would give a new A-level chemistry student just starting out? And the answer is to take the time, learn the skills and the strategies in order to be organized. And if you are that organized, then the grade will naturally follow because you're maximizing your time, you're working on your strengths, and you're shoring up your weaknesses. All right, so everybody have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.